Alright, so in this video I'll be showing how to connect the Gp10 to Ableton Live, so that way I can run multiple versions of MIDI Guitar 2, and even mix between the MIDI guitar and the raw audio that this pickup gets. And this pickup is the GK3, combined with the Gp10 as the floorboard unit, and it gives me 6 little extra humbuckers right here, so I have 6 paths of audio. So I'll show how I created this preset, a little bit through the preset so you can see how it is, and I'll showcase what it can do. So first, I'll show off of what it can do. So the cool thing is I have half piano, half guitar, and then the cool thing is I have to set it up so the chain selector goes through multiple things, and here is a full 6 piano. Saying 6 because I'm running 6 instances of MIDI Guitar 2. But the really cool part is I'm only running 1 instance of the grand piano, so I can save my CPU power. Over here I'm only at like 9-10%. I got a lot of crap running, but it would be a lot worse if I had like 20 instances of MIDI Guitar 2 or 1 for every single VST. So I'll explain how this is routed, and then I'll create it from scratch to show it a little bit more. But over here I have this all grouped very nice and neatly, and the reason why is I'm going to have it so I can just go under templates. Is it templates? I'll find out wherever it is. Maybe it's user. I have it somewhere. But I want to be able to just be in any project file I have and just drag and drop the 6 instance MIDI guitar thing with my full instrument rack and all my guitar crap, just so it's ready to go. I'll just open up any project and just bam, plug in the whole MIDI guitar thing. No more like sitting around writing all this stuff. I want it once and done. That's kind of the end goal. And then when I want to add or change it, I open it up. And the way it works is we'll start here. This is the first one you make. These are all the audio, and these are the only versions of MIDI Guitar 2 that run. And they get the inputs. 3 is the first one the Gp10 has is the first single string. 4 is the second string, and so on. And then I have it to send only because it's, no reason to actually have it go anywhere. And they kind of just stay here. They don't do anything. The interesting one is under the MIDI one. So if we click under MIDI, oops, I already had it open. And full 6, so that's my first instance. I create 6 chains that are empty MIDI chains, and they just get their MIDI information from the audio tracks. That's the important part. We're getting MIDI from audio. But the thing that's kind of difficult is we can't all send it to the same VST. But what we can do is combine it and then send it. So we all send it, and this is going to be under the configurations tab over here to, I already had it open, 1 full 6. So that's my first instance. All of the ones from 1 full 6 over here get their audio from the audio thing, and then they send it over here, and then all of these from here go to my first rack where that piano is. And then you just duplicate. You can right click and duplicate it, and then make sure it's all good, and you do the same thing. That's what this is. It's another 6 empty MIDI tracks. I'm not making any more guitar MIDI 2 or MIDI Guitar 2 stuff. I'm just getting it from the same 6 original audio. You can see down here, from the exact same stuff. I can even open both of these and show. It's all from the same stuff. And then I just send it to another, kind of merging thing, so to speak, MIDI track over here. And this goes to the string ensemble, which is my second one in my chain selector. And then I have this, dubstep bass one. And then I have the part split. So for the part split here, instead of doing all 6 strings, I actually only did 4. So with only 4, I sent those 4 to the 4 split, and that means I only get 4 strings. That's how I did the 4 bottom strings piano on the top 2 guitar. And then I'll show what the master chain looks like. That's what I'm calling it, the master guitar chain. So this is what it looks like. It's just a regular piano VST. I have a MIDI monitor. I've been trying out different gates and stuff to see if it helps the tracking out. I'm still learning MIDI Guitar 2. I used to use a different VST beforehand, but I switched over recently. Over here, if I use the chain selector, I'm able to switch. So let's see, where is it? Oh, it's let me use the shift key. What am I thinking? All right. I don't know. There we go. So now the goal is you just move positions on the chain selector with the foot pedal. That's what I'm going to do. I think for some reason it thinks there's like steps in between 0 and 1, so I have to check that out later. But with the chain selector, I should be able to switch. That's my piano one. Then you just heard the violin one or the string ensemble, and now we're gonna go to 2, which is my dubstep bass. It's doing that thing where it's in between. So it's gonna be not quite. Oh, there it was. Oh, it's so close. I don't know if you can see a flash there. For a split second. There we go. So I think it thinks there's like parameters in between, but I gotta fix that. So then the next one is going to be all lead guitar, for example. So let's hold down. So it's in that in-between stuff again. Oh, I just heard it. Let's see. Lead guitar. Oh, I accidentally went to the 4th one. So I got the 3rd one. Oh, I gotta hold the shift key down. It's so weird. There you go. And the best for last. Hey, I switched right. Half guitar, half MIDI. And real quick, I'll show how I do that one specifically. So you go into the piano guitar one. I have to create a little group. So it starts with this little group. I got the grand piano. This is where the 4-split input goes to. And under guitars, I actually create an external audio effect rack. So with external audio effects, create a little group with 3 and 4. And what's really cool is you can send them to the same amplifier, but I actually chose to send them to 2 separate amplifiers. And the reason why is it makes the harmonies extra crisp. So now I'm going to close this project out. Do I want to save? Nope. And I'll create it from scratch just to showcase how it works a little bit. So I'm going to go Ableton. I'm going to delete my default template. I got a little default one here. I'm just going to delete that crap. Goodbye. Alright. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't delete that. That's my only one. So I'll just clear off. Alright. It's going to be, we're going to start with a blank MIDI track. Alright. And we're going to name it, we'll name it analog. Because I'm sick of piano sound at this point. Oh, no caps lock. Analog. Alright. Go to my instruments. I'm just going to drag a default analog synthesizer over there. And that's it. But the issue is, when I play my guitar, I don't get anything happening. Because this is going to get a MIDI input from something that doesn't exist yet. So we're going to start an audio track. We're going to rename this S1. I've been doing this because it's a lot of typing at this point. We're going to get audio from string 3. And then I have it under my favorites. We're going to drag some MIDI guitar 2 in. So here it is. Alright, MIDI guitar 2 is in. And it's going to be sending out. And I'm going to send it to sends only for now. Or actually, I forget how we do this in the regular way. Oh, I have to get an input. So MIDI from S1. There we go. Turn it on in. Make sure it's let in. Notice my other strings will come through. My second string will bleed through a little bit because these pickups, they kind of tend to pick the other strings up. Like my second string will get in, but not my other ones. And my second string's a little more quiet. That's where I throw the gate in to make sure they don't bleed into each other too much, but that's like a whole separate issue I'm trying to work out of, like, optimizing this stuff. So what I do from here now is I'm just going to duplicate this thing a whole bunch of times because it's a lot quicker. And I'm not going to bother renaming them right now. I would rename them. It makes it easier to not get confused. But I would rename it like S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. And then I just create a little group. So group. The reason why I group them is it would drive me nuts if I didn't, to be honest. And then just throw them all in here. These are my the main chains, what I call them. They are the actual pitch to MIDI conversions. And then I just make sure I click, string 4, or not string 4, but info 4, because they correlate differently. And 7 and 8, but the only issue is that we're only gonna get input from one string. Oh, no, I'm not getting it. I'm not sure why. Let me see. Sends only. Here it is. MIDI from. Oh, there you go. And the issue here is that I can only get MIDI from one input over here. This is the biggest problem. I can't like select multiple. That would be nice, but I found the workaround. So I'm gonna create a new MIDI track, and what you do here is you get MIDI from one for each. So this is gonna get MIDI from S1, and then you duplicate this 6 times, one for each one, duplicate, and you duplicate, and duplicate, and you duplicate, and you duplicate again. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. And they get it all from each chain. They're all called S1, this is why it's a little confusing, but I'm just gonna count. But this is, for the record, why I should go through the naming process, but I kind of tore my hair out doing all this stuff, so I'm not going to. But there we go. Now we get all the MIDI from there. And then we'll group this, make it nice and pretty, because it'll get confusing. Is that enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, there's one more. 6. Put that over here. Alright. So I'll make this group a little smaller. Make this group small too. We'll call this the audio. We'll just name it now. These are the audio chains, the real ones, the ones that actually do the pitch to MIDI conversion. And this is the ones that take it. And what they're going to do is they're going to group it into one super thing. So let's create the super thing. So I create a MIDI track, and I call this, I like to name it like full 6, right? And this is my first chain that's going to get all the inputs. So I go over here in my group of MIDI chain, and make sure they all send over here. So we're going to go to full 6, and this one's going to go to full 6, and this one's going to go to full 6, and this one does 2, this one does 2, so does that one. Alright, they all go to full 6. Make it small. Then now over here on MIDI from, we're gonna get MIDI from the full 6. And then let's see. Yeah, that's it. Let's see if that works. Nope. Oh, I need it on in. So we gotta hit in. MIDI, and then we have to make sure it's all in over here. I'm gonna click in. There we go. Now I have polyphonic. I mean, I know MIDI Guitar 2 is polyphonic, but it's not polyphonic with the same degree of accuracy as having 6 inputs. Now, the way I would do it is I created a bunch of instrument racks over here, and then you can mix between audio and MIDI stuff. I can make a future video on how to do that. I don't want this video to be too long, but I'll showcase a real quick example of me making, so we'll make a MIDI track, and then we'll make an instrument rack, right? We're going to drag the instrument rack over, bam, there it is. Go over here, we're going to create a chain. Now that this chain is created, we'll call it, I'm just going to select the keyboard, bam, there it is. And then this is going to send out to that. So MIDI output to, we're going to get rid of this one. Wait, is that our group? Yeah, that's our group. Never mind. I'm not getting rid of that. Make this small so I don't get confused. Alright. The full 6 is going to output to the instrument rack. There it is. And it's going to go into instrument rack 1. And just for example, we're gonna delete like, delete, delete, delete. That just gives us half of it. What you would do is you would make another set. Like you would basically have a whole thing for each configuration. But yeah. If anyone has any comments, just comment about that. I'm a little lazily going through this because I've spent a lot of time on this and it makes me nuts. But if anyone really wants to know, I'll go even more in depth into it. But yeah, so here's my thing. It should be getting the inputs from here. So, oh, I need an instrument on here. So we're gonna throw an analog in my little chain. Right here it is. So these 3 strings, the bottom 3 are the only ones that get it. The top 3 don't. And we're gonna create another group from here. I know, it's group city. So in the little chain thing, we get sounds from the analog and then create another chain. And these are gonna be the guitar chains. So over here, I'm gonna grab some external audio effects, bam. And then believe it or not, I'm gonna group this too. I'm gonna duplicate 3 times, 1 per string. Duplicate. And I'm not gonna throw in amplifiers or anything just to showcase this a little quicker, but 3, 4, and 5 are my top 3 strings for the routing. And there it is. And then, as you can hear, I'll throw a really quick, let's see. Where's the jazz one? There, I like this one. And then, what you do is, you could throw it on 1 amp. So if you throw it on a chain right here, only that 1 string will get it. That's not typically you want, so you actually want to throw it outside the whole group. So I think right here it is, right? Let's see. They'll all have it. That's how you'll know. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So now all 3 of those strings have it. So you could like... in the future, I'm looking at, I have a foot controller thing, so I'm using expression pedals, and I want to, control some synth parameters, expression pedals. I have the livid wing, but I can't get that to work very well, so I can use like a gyro sensor, and then, yeah. But with this kind of stuff, there's lots of cool ideas, like, I'll throw one more thing in here. I'll throw just a delay. So delay, I'm just gonna grab echo, and we're just gonna put it on 1 chain to show an example. So now just my top string is going to have an echo. So yeah, that's it.